All right, everyone. So we watched, and I'm sure a lot of people did, the WrestleMania XL documentary yesterday. And watching that documentary brought up to me a massive storyline for the future here that may end up being bigger than it would have been at WrestleMania. Now, a big part of this documentary, and the part that's certainly getting talked about most, is the Cody Rhodes, Rock, Roman Reigns kind of behind the scenes here battle to see you know, main event was going to take place, and it got so low for Cody. And the documentary did such a good job of telling the story because it shows you, okay, Cody Rhodes basically, he'd been waiting for this for an entire year, been building up to it. Rock comes back, now everything is in flux, and you see at one moment, right, you have Cody, who's supposed to be the one finishing his story, but then Rock's music hits. He goes to the stage, or he goes into the ring, and then you have basically Cody leaving, but you have the crowd chanting, "This is awesome!" Right? And then he goes backstage, both of them, and everybody is praising the job that they just did, Roman and The Rock, and you just know Cody is sitting on that bus, and I mean, imagine what Cody's feeling in that moment. He was supposed to be the one finishing his story at WrestleMania. He built this whole thing up for an entire year. You're a few months out, and now The Rock comes in, and you just heard all these fans chanting, basically that this is great, and it looks like the direction of the company is heading towards that being the case. Triple H then ends up telling you this is what we're going to do going forward, and so now and then on top of it, Triple H says, "Yeah, honestly, considering CM Punk is going to fight Seth Rollins, we don't actually know what we're going to do with you at WrestleMania." And it's like, oh my god! I mean, think about what Cody must have been feeling in that moment, and it kind of draws out to you. Even it makes this whole thing even better because you understand what was going on behind the scenes. So then we get to the next point, which is obviously the fans turn on it, and it ends up being Cody versus Roman. But they built up throughout this documentary the entirety of the kind of Roman Reigns Rock rivalry, and they're talking about, sure, maybe Cody Roman is bigger for like the everyday fan, right, the hardcore fan who's watching it, but for everybody outside of the company, right, so these people who are maybe they watch just WrestleMania or they just come around every once in a while, the Rock versus Roman may be the bigger one. And it's interesting because the whole time, so as this is progressing, since you already know what's going to end up happening, it's a little bit less like, you can think about other things other than, oh, I wonder what's going to happen here because you know what's going to happen. But it made me think that everything with this storyline, with the bloodline storyline, has been the longer it goes on, the higher the highs get. So there's all the like you would have thought after the first loss, maybe that would be it. Kept going. You would think after Cody Rhodes, right, beats Roman Reigns, you would think that's the end of the bloodline. The head of the table lost. He's no longer champion. He's out. That's the end. But now we see with Solo and everybody else that's coming in, the bloodline storyline is getting stronger every single week. And it's just making me think, and it was only after this documentary that it's pretty clear Roman's going to come back. He's going to kick some bloodline ass, right? Because these guys are saying they're the head of the table. And we're just putting this out as a theory. So, spoiler warning if WWE ends up taking this, but this would be so cool. What if you had Roman come back and he just destroys the bloodline now, right? Obviously, in the lead up, you're going to have him take some losses. You're going to have the rest of the bloodline come in and beat him up. You're going to have him partner with Paul Heyman. And let's say he comes back and he beats up Solo in whatever pay per view they put this at, and now he's not champ because Cody Rhodes is still champ, but he basically beats him, and that it looks like that storyline's over. And then the next night on Raw, Roman Reigns comes out and he talks about, oh, I beat the bloodline, whatever. And then The Rock's music hits. And when The Rock's music hits, he comes out and he said, you didn't beat anybody. I'm the final boss. Right? This whole build up, they talked about him being a heel and the whole thing. and and then you can set up now a Roman Reigns Rock match at WrestleMania. It doesn't even have to have a title involved. That's the beauty of some of these storylines is why even waste the title on that match? Keep Cody with the title, have this be this big fight, and I think that match would be bigger than the match would have been last year. Seriously, because not only are you going to get all these outside people who, just know The Rock from movies and other things, but you're going to get all of the hardcore fans behind it. So I really think that's what I took away from parts of this documentary is The Rock and Roman Reigns officially could be bigger than ever because they didn't do it last year. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.